Without further ado, it is time for me to introduce our very first speaker. Our very first speaker is Sal Prothero, a clinical nutritionist, author, and presenter. She is the founder of Whole Foods Nutrition, a company that specializes in gut and mental health, where she helps men and women beat depression, anxiety, and ADHD with diet, nutrition, lifestyle, and functional medicine testing. As a clinical nutritionist, for 6 years, Sal assists her clients to achieve their mental and physical health goals, educating her clients with her unique system, helping them to take control of their health and in personalized and practical way for them to be able to create long-lasting results. Sal is passionate about educating people on the power of food as medicine, nutritional psychiatry, and how to take control of their health. She has created her own Feed Your Body and Mind and Happy Gut, Happy Brain workshops and seminars, of which she has presented to audiences in Melbourne, Australia. She has also co-authored 2 books where she shares her story to inspire others to make changes for themselves. If you were to ask her friends and co-workers what her strengths are, they would tell you that she is conscientious, caring, and really passionate about health. So please help me welcome to the stage, Sal Prothero. Woo!
Thank you, Anna. Thanks for that introduction. I wouldn't be here without your support and help. And also thank you to the other presenters. And also welcome everybody on this Saturday morning. So, are you struggling with energy to get you through the day? Are you finding that you're moody most of the day? It's affecting your relationships with your friends and family. It's affecting your relationships with your work colleagues, your work productivity, and most importantly, it's affecting you. So today, I'm going to show you how a mineral imbalance can negatively affect your mood and energy, and how your hair can show us which mineral deficiencies you have and specific foods to eat and avoid. And at the end, I'll just show you some simple, easy steps as to how to eat these foods. 77% of employees experience burnout at least once in 2020. Now, I find that statistic huge because it's probably increased since the pandemic. 15% of Australians have experienced an affective disorder, such as anxiety and depression. And Australia is the 4th highest country for antidepressant use. Now, I don't know about you, but I was shocked at this. This is after countries like Canada and Iceland. So I just want to share a bit about how I came to be a clinical nutritionist. This is me at the bottom of this slide. Well, that's not actually me, but that was me working in the corporate world. I was chronically stressed. I was anxious. I had gut issues, you know, like bloating, constipation. I just felt under the weather every single day. And I couldn't see any future. I had no goals. I was just eating rubbish to get through the day. So refined carbs, coffee, and then alcohol in the evenings. So I went to see a few nutritionists, and the first one put me on an elimination diet, and I couldn't eat anything. I couldn't even go out. I felt like a recluse. So the next nutritionist, she scribbled some notes on a bit of paper, and I felt very alone doing it, but I knew that I had to do something about it, because after about 10 years of this, I just couldn't go on the way I was going. So that kind of got me interested in food as medicine, and I then studied a lot about food and thought to myself, well, I can do better than these nutritionists. And that's why I'm here today, to give a more personalized picture. So many people kind of ask me, what do I do? You know, am I a dietitian? Am I a naturopath? I get the feeling that they're a bit confused. So the first three things that I look at are diet, nutrition, and lifestyle. So they're the key areas. And the most important thing when it comes to our energy and our well-being and our brain health is gut. What's going on in your gut? And I also look at all these other areas. I actually look at more, but I couldn't actually fit them on this slide. But I look at the whole person, including functional medicine testing, and the hair test is what I'm going to show you later. So I have 8 years clinical experience, and it took me 10 years to get my degree in nutritional medicine. I started in the UK, and then I had to start all over again in Melbourne. So I was determined to help other people like me and start my own business. And I now do functional medicine testing, which includes loads of different tests like hair tests, gut tests. And a couple of years ago, I decided to specialize in mental health and gut health. I was inspired by my daughter, who unfortunately had severe anxiety, and I was opened up to this whole world, the mental health world, and also personal experience. So this is me out and about. Well, this is before COVID. I just loved sharing my knowledge. I developed my own seminars called Feed Your Body and Mind. And this is me talking at a school, at a gym, and a local council here in Melbourne asked me to speak at one of their workshops. So why do we need minerals and nutrients? We need them for well-being, for vitality. We also need them for our metabolic processes in our body. We can't do without them. They're like the spark plugs. And we also need them for our neurotransmitters, our brain chemicals. And I first saw this chart years ago, and I had it up on my wall when I was discovering food as medicine. And I just loved it because it's colorful. It showed me all the foods to eat, but at the same time, I felt overwhelmed. I thought, I can't possibly eat all those foods. So that's why today I talk about specific foods for, for the specific person. So in a perfect world, wouldn't it be great if we could just eat all those lovely foods and feel energetic and feel happy? But in today's world, our food is not quite the same. Modern farming techniques, pesticides, low minerals in the soil. And not only do we have that to contend with, but we also have all these other factors. Like chronic stress is a really big one. And particularly now after the pandemic and what we're going through at the moment. Also poor absorption, taking medication, all these things reduce the level of minerals in your body. So, I look at all these risk factors and correct them where needed. So this is the hair tissue mineral analysis test. And this is what shows me about your mineral imbalances. So here we have Susie, we'll call her Susie, and I can see that she has a fast metabolic type. Okay, she's exhausted, even though it says fast, she's actually exhausted, she's fatigued, she's depressed. And also, just by being a fast metabolic type, she really shouldn't be eating too many complex carbohydrates or refined carbohydrates. Whereas if she was a slow metabolic type, carbohydrates would be a really, really good foods to eat because carbs, as most of you know, are used for energy. So I can also see that her minerals, she's quite low, and that suggests that she's got poor absorption. And here we can see that she has some heavy metal toxicity, which we need to address. So we can also see that she's low in quite a lot of these nutrients. So I would be looking at specifically calcium, magnesium, zinc. And not only do I look at these tests, but I would also be asking her for blood tests as well, because that gives us another side to the whole picture. So this is what our neurotransmitters look like. This is the serotonin pathway, which most of you have probably heard of. This is our happy hormone, and we need good levels of serotonin to produce melatonin, which of course you've all heard of. Now, 80% of serotonin is made in our gut. So if we don't have good gut health, we're not going to be making enough serotonin. And not only that, but we need all these nutrients, all these minerals in order to make serotonin. So if you remember, Susie was low in zinc, magnesium, and also vitamin C is a vitamin that, if you're chronically stressed, you can just lose a lot of vitamin C out of your body. This pathway starts with tryptophan, protein. Protein is one of the most important macronutrients that you need. If you're not eating enough protein, then you're not going to be making your happy hormone. And a lot of people now are kind of reducing their level of eating meat, which is fine, or becoming vegan or vegetarian, but you've got to make a bigger effort then to get enough protein in your diet. And this is just another example of a neurotransmitter pathway. Again, it starts with protein. So you need enough protein in order to convert to dopamine and adrenaline. And this pathway also needs these nutrients these are involved in mood, fatigue, depression, and short attention span, which is becoming quite prevalent now. And especially with ADHD type people. So these are just the most common nutrients needed for mood and energy. And I'm going to share with you just a couple of foods that you can eat. So fats is, as well as protein, fats is a really important macronutrient that you need for brain health. And many people that I see are really low in fat because they just don't eat enough of these foods, or they could be vegan. So if you're not getting enough of these foods, then supplementation is suggested. And magnesium, this is always the nutrient that everybody talks about, and a lot of people are on a magnesium supplement, but these are the foods that you need to eat for magnesium, and you need to be eating these foods on a regular basis to be getting enough levels of magnesium. And here you can see dark chocolate, but I'm not suggesting that you go out and buy a whole block of dark chocolate and eat the whole thing, because it does contain caffeine, and too much caffeine for Susie, if you remember, is not a good idea. So just 2 squares is adequate. Zinc is another really important one, and oysters have the most amount of zinc, but not everybody's going to be eating oysters every day. So you need to be getting, again, some of these foods, which in the previous slide, they're actually duplicated. So it's not actually that hard if you just think of, the legumes, beans, whole grains like, brown rice, quinoa, nuts and seeds, tofu, and these types of foods. And protein, everybody kind of says, oh yeah, I eat enough protein, but sometimes they forget what types of foods have got protein. Now, meat has got the most amount of protein, but if you don't eat meat, then tofu is the next best thing. And again, you've got your nuts and seeds and whole grains. So I just thought I'd share with you, how it's all very well thinking, well, yeah, I know that I've got to eat these foods, but how on earth am I going to eat them? So here we have a lovely porridge, and here in Melbourne, it's freezing now that it's winter. So you've got your protein and your carbs in your oats. You've got your antioxidants on top, and your zinc and your magnesium in your seeds, and extra protein in the yogurt. And this is just an example of what I eat. This is my overnight oats, which is just literally oats soaked overnight with seeds. And you can just chuck everything on in the morning. Really, really easy. And at the weekend or on your days off, these take a bit more time. You've got all your macronutrients and other nutrients in your eggs, and fats in your avocado. Now your snacks, one of my favorites is the apple with the skin off. That's great for your gut. And another. You can also have tahini as well, which is great for calcium. And you've got, when you have time at the weekend or in your days off, you could make some dips, fantastic for protein. And these are my energy balls that contain almonds, chia seeds, and cacao, which is great for magnesium. So again, it's fantastic knowing all these foods, but it's another thing actually putting it into practice. So I know it sounds really obvious, but you really do need to plan your week. So whenever the start of your week is, whether it's a Sunday or whatever, plan every single day and write a shopping list. I know that sounds obvious, but when you go to the supermarket, you haven't got a list, you just buy anything and everything. When you make a dinner, make double the recipe, even triple the recipe, because lunch can be a bit dodgy as to what to eat. We tend to just grab whatever's there because it's the middle of the day, we're really busy. So leftovers from dinner is a really good idea. And a slow cooker is my favorite thing in the winter. So it's just so easy, just chuck everything in ready by the evening. And, think about what you're doing every day. Think about, are you out and about? Have you got meetings? Are you out and about with the kids? Think about your snack in the afternoon, bring the snacks with you or bring your lunch with you. And then obviously, when you're at home, it's a lot easier. So I love working with my clients. I learn with every single client, and it gives me great joy when they feel so much better. And this lady came to me, she was, low mood, poor energy, poor sleep, gut issues, like bloating. And the next person, a lady, very similar, but she was unable to focus. So she had a bit of kind of ADHD going on, and we did the 4-month program. Because I was with her every step of the way. I kept in touch with her every week, and I find that's the best way of doing it. So just to recap, I shared with you, about mineral imbalances and your mood and energy, and how that shows up in your hair, and some simple steps to eat these foods. So if you follow this and correct your mineral imbalances, you're going to be much happier, you're going to be motivated, you're going to have much better relationships with everyone, and you're going to be able to make some goals in life, do things that you have wanted to do for so long. So if you'd like to have a chat with me, I'm offering a free 20-minute call. We can have a chat about what's going on for you at the moment, what you'd like help with, and I can give you some tips, practical tips as to what to do now, and we can talk about, if I can help you in the future. And that is the link to book, and there's also a link in the chat. Okay, thanks very much for listening, everybody. Bye.